CBS may have likely caused NCIS Season 22 posting the show's lowest-rated episode ever. In the ever-changing way that people consume their entertainment, long-running shows like NCIS continuously raking in millions of viewers is very impressive. Granted that the numbers aren't exactly as massive as before, but the show has consistently been a top-rated performer for the network. Aside from building a massive following, NCIS has also established a shared universe with several spin-offs. That said, while it doesn't seem like the franchise is slowing down anytime soon, its recent numbers may be a cause for concern. Currently, NCIS Season 22 is the third longest-running scripted American series, only behind Law & Order, SVU Season 26 and Law & Order Season 24. It's an institution for CBS, and frankly, it's difficult to imagine what its programming would be like without the flagship. This is even after MCRT has seen a series of casting changes in the last few years, including Mark Harmon's retirement of Leroy Jethro Gibbs and David McCallum's death, which was mirrored in Ducky Mallard's fate. Currently, NCIS Season 22 is shaping up to be a solid year, but that isn't reflected in the numbers. NCIS Season 22, Episode 4, Stick and Stones is its lowest-rated episode ever. The procedural sees an all-time low. Wilmer Valderrama as NCIS Special Agent Nicholas Nick Torres, Sean Murray as Special Agent Timothy McGee, and Diona Reasonova as Forensic Scientist Casey Hines in NCIS. After the cliffhanger finale of NCIS Season 21, the first few episodes of the current year have been focused on re-establishing the dynamic in the Navy Yard bullpen. Jessica Knight officially returned from her 6-month stint in Camp Pendleton, while Timothy McGee continues to cope with the disappointment over being passed on for the Deputy Director promotion. These stories and other overarching storylines are incorporated with weekly cases. That said, what's lost in the shuffle is that NCIS Season 22, Episode 4, Sticks and Stones is the lowest-rated episode of the show ever, only posting 4.76 million viewers, via Programming Insider. Prior to the outing, NCIS' lowest-rated episode was the Season 20 premiere, Family Matters, which posted 5.82 million viewers, via Showbuzz Daily. It aired on September 19, 2022, and kicked off a crossover event that concludes on NCIS, Hawaii Season 2 Episode 1, Prisoner's Dilemma, which had around the same ratings at 5.31 million viewers. Before NCIS Season 22, Episode 4, Sticks and Stones, NCIS Season 22, Episode 3, The Trouble with Hal was the show's lowest-rated outing with just 4.92 million viewers, the same numbers that NCIS Season 22, Episode 6, Night and Day had. NCIS Season 22, Episode 4 being its lowest-rated episode ever may be due to the elections. CBS could have just given NCIS a break. That being said, NCIS Season 22, Episode 4, Stick and Stones having the show's lowest viewership may not be entirely its fault. As previously mentioned, much has changed in terms of the entertainment landscape. Aside from network TV, people have turned to the binge-watch model, which was perpetuated by the influx of streaming services. Aside from being able to revisit so many old shows through various platforms, Netflix, Paramount+, Peacock, and others like them also regularly release original shows. Because of this, some users have, or at least have considered, abandoning traditional broadcasters. In this particular scenario, however, the reason may not be rooted in anything that NCIS did or the rise of streaming services. Instead, NCIS Season 22, Episode 4's low rating could be chalked up to CBS' poor scheduling choices. Stick and Stones was released on Monday, November 4, 2024, a day before the latest American election, with the presidency between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. It would be an understatement to say that it was a tense time for the country, and while escapist entertainment may work for some, the majority of the US was tuned in for news reports. Because of this, it may have been wiser for CBS to give NCIS the week off at this point. It could have easily filled its slot with a special broadcast about the election or just used the slot for a rerun of a previous episode that it wanted to highlight. This way, NCIS Season 22, Episode 4 wouldn't have had to have such bad numbers, which, for the kind of story it had, didn't really deserve. Why NCIS Season 22, Episode 4 deserves a rewatch. Sticks and Stones is NCIS Season 22's strongest episode. Katrina Law as NCIS Special Agent Jessica Knight and Brian Dietzen as Jimmy Palmer in NCIS. After a shortened 2023 to 2024 TV season, which was packed with so many integral narratives, including the surprise return of Michael Weatherly's Tony D. Notso Jr. for Ducky's funeral. This understandably prompts NCIS a return to its usual storytelling approach in Season 22. Instead of a succession of big plots, these are more scattered throughout the year, since it has significantly more episodes to play with. Because of this, NCIS Season 22 is more of a true procedural in terms of format. Admittedly, this may be frustrating to some who are looking for developments on some integral arcs while the year has some rather skippable outings, because they don't have any impact on the larger themes at play. Interestingly, Sticks and Stones doesn't fall in that category. NCIS Season 22, Episode 4 is one of, if not its strongest installment this year, which makes its low rating so much more disappointing. In the episode, Parker and the team scramble to stop a burgeoning World War III. The majority of the episode scenes take place in the Navy Yard office, and aside from the international turmoil, the team also has to deal with the hostile FBI elsewhere. NCIS Season 22, Episode 4 also delivers on the long-awaited post-breakup talk between Jessica Knight and Jimmy Palmer. The pair is separated from the rest of the commotion back in Navy Yard, and while Parker and McGee defy orders from their superiors, they sit on a camper and talk about the status of their relationship. It's an effective juxtaposition that answers some of the most pressing matters in NCIS Season 22. NCIS Season 22 still has work to do to improve its ratings. The year's overall numbers are down. McGee and Parker study a piece of paper in NCIS Season 22. While CBS scheduling for NCIS Season 22, Episode 4 is to blame for its low ratings, the show's overall numbers for the year should be something that the network should look into. Perhaps the procedural needs to do something about its season-long arc, which introduced Gabriel LaRoche as the new NCIS villain to lure people back. Otherwise, it could also bring back some familiar faces from the show's past so the project can rely on nostalgia to revive viewers' excitement about it. Di Notso did appear last season, perhaps Ziva David or Ellie Bishop can resurface.